In the NFL, most third-string quarterbacks barely get a mention, let alone headlines. They're the guys running scout team in practice, holding clipboards on Sundays, and quietly waiting for a chance that almost never comes. But Shedeur Sanders isn't most quarterbacks. Despite being listed as QB3 in Cleveland, his name keeps dominating sports talk, news cycles, and social media feeds. And now, even a three-time Super Bowl winning coach has stepped in to give his unfiltered opinion. Bruce Arians, the veteran head coach who led Tom Brady and the Buccaneers to a championship, didn't hold back when asked about Sanders. His take? Simple but sharp. Why is the third quarterback getting interviewed? For Arians, the whole situation makes no sense. Shedeur, he argued, had nothing to do with the game, and yet the media swarmed him like he was the face of the franchise. To Arians, it wasn't about Sanders himself. It was about the Browns' decision to put him in front of the cameras at all. In his view, the spotlight should have stayed on Dylan Gabriel, the backup quarterback, or the team preparing for their next matchup. That single question, why is the third quarterback getting interviewed, lit a fire under an already heated debate. On one side, you've got traditional voices like Arians saying rookies need to prove themselves on the field before they can step into the spotlight. On the other, you've got a growing wave of fans and analysts who argue that Sanders is different. He's already a star, with or without the stats to back it up, and the media is simply following where the attention goes. And make no mistake, the attention is massive. Whether it's fair or not, Shedeur Sanders has become one of the hottest names in football without starting a single NFL game. Every interview, every headline, every clip seems to go viral. Even when the Browns are focused on winning games, the narrative keeps circling back to the rookie wearing a headset on the sideline. This is where the story gets interesting. Because Arians' comments weren't just about one interview. They highlighted a bigger tension in the league. Should young players be shielded from media hype until they've earned their spot? Or has the game changed so much that personality and presence matter just as much as performance? For Shedeur, that question could shape how his entire career is perceived. One thing is clear. When a Hall of Fame caliber coach is weighing in on a third stringer, it means that player isn't just another rookie. Shedeur Sanders has become bigger than the depth chart, and the NFL world can't stop talking about him. When Bruce Arians speaks, people listen. This isn't some random analyst throwing out hot takes for clicks. This is a coach who's been in the trenches, won championships, and knows what it takes to build a winning locker room. So when he looked at the situation in Cleveland and asked, why is the third quarterback getting interviewed? It hit like a hammer. To Arians, the logic just didn't add up. Shedeur Sanders had no role in the game, didn't take a single snap, and yet, after the final whistle, he was the one answering questions, while the actual starter and backup slipped into the background. In Arians' eyes, that was a media failure. He placed the blame not on Shedeur, but on the Browns' public relations team for even putting him in front of the cameras. His message was clear. Rookies, especially third-string rookies, need protection from the media storm, not extra fuel added to it. But here's the twist. Arians also admitted Shedeur has a heck of a personality, and that's where this debate really takes off. Because whether you agree with Arians or not, that personality is exactly why the cameras keep finding Sanders. He's not just another quiet rookie waiting his turn. He's confident, charismatic, and unafraid to speak his mind. That's why fans want to hear from him, and that's why reporters keep chasing his quotes. Arians' comments highlight an old-school versus new-school clash in football culture. The old-school rule says you earn attention by producing on the field. The new-school reality says personality drives clicks, headlines, and fan interest. Sometimes even more than stats. And right now, Sanders is at the center of that shift. For Arians, the solution was simple. Keep Shedeur focused on practice, keep him grinding, and only let his voice shine once he's proven himself under the lights. But in today's NFL, It might not be that simple. Because even when he's not playing, Sanders has already proven one thing: people can't stop talking about him. The part Bruce Arians may not fully grasp is just how magnetic Shedeur Sanders has become to the media. In a league where dozens of rookies enter every season, only a few manage to capture the spotlight beyond their play on the field. Sanders is one of them, and it's not by accident. Think about it. We're talking about a third-string quarterback who hasn't started an NFL game, yet every word he says turns into headlines. Reporters chase him for quotes, podcasts dissect his interviews, and fans on social media debate his confidence like it's breaking news. Rookies' post-game interviews are routine, bland sound bites that get buried before anyone notices. But with Sanders, it's different. His presence guarantees clicks, and the media knows it. Part of that obsession comes from his background. As the son of Deion Sanders, a Hall of Famer, a larger-than-life personality, and now a college football head coach, Shedeur was raised in the spotlight. He understands how to handle attention, how to stay composed, and how to make his voice heard without sounding rattled. That makes him unique, and the media feeds off it. Another reason, the narrative writes itself. A young, confident rookie saying he's ready to play, even as a QB3, is the kind of soundbite that drives debate shows and fills airtime. It's polarizing. Some people love it, others hate it, but everyone talks about it. And in today's media world, attention is currency. Sanders, whether intentionally or not, has become one of the NFL's hottest storylines. The irony is that while Arians believes the Browns should shield Sanders from interviews, the opposite seems to be happening. The more he speaks, the more people want to hear from him. And the more the media leans in, the more Sanders' profile grows, even without him stepping onto the field. That's the obsession in a nutshell. Shedeur Sanders isn't just being covered like a quarterback. He's being covered like a star. And that's why, even as a third stringer, he's dominating the conversation. What makes the Shedeur Sanders debate so fascinating is how it exposes the tension between old-school football values and the modern sports landscape. For coaches like Bruce Arians, the rules are simple. You earn attention by proving yourself on the field. Personality doesn't matter until production backs it up. In his world, rookies should keep their heads down, avoid distractions, and wait for their moment. But the NFL in 2025 doesn't run by those rules anymore. Fans want stories, headlines, and personalities as much as they want touchdowns and wins. Social media, sports talk shows, and highlight culture have completely flipped the script. A single confident quote from Shedeur, "I'm ready," can trend across platforms faster than a game-winning drive. It's not just about football anymore. It's about entertainment, branding, and engagement. That's the new school reality. Players like Sanders step into the league with massive followings before they've even played a down. For Shedeur, his confidence isn't arrogance. It's part of his image. He's not waiting until year 3 to build a brand. He's already doing it now. And, whether critics like it or not, that's part of the modern game. The clash between these two perspectives is why Arians' comments stirred up so much debate. To him, interviews should go to the starter, Dillon Gabriel, or even the head coach. But to fans and media, Sanders is the story because he represents change. A rookie who understands that the spotlight can't always be avoided, so you might as well own it. And here's the kicker. Neither side is completely wrong. Arians isn't wrong for wanting young players to focus on football first. But he may be overlooking how much influence personality has in today's NFL. Meanwhile, Sanders isn't wrong for embracing the attention, as long as he keeps backing it up with preparation and poise. That's the balance. The old school standard says, prove it on the field. The new school reality says your voice matters now. And Shedeur Sanders is caught right in the middle, redefining what it means to be a rookie quarterback in today's NFL. While all the headlines swirl around Shedeur Sanders, the one person who quietly feels the heat more than anyone else might be Dillon Gabriel. On paper, Gabriel is the Browns' QB2, the guy one snap away from stepping in if the starter goes down. He's supposed to be the steady presence, the one preparing week after week without distraction. But in reality, his situation has become way more complicated. Every time Sanders makes a headline, Gabriel's name gets pushed further into the shadows. Instead of being recognized as the backup quarterback with a real chance of playing, he's often treated like the placeholder standing between Shedeur and the spotlight. That's a tough role to live with. Because no matter how well Gabriel performs in practice, the question keeps lingering: when will Sanders get his shot? And the irony is that Gabriel himself hasn't done anything wrong. He's earned the trust of coaches enough to land the QB2 role, but the media narrative doesn't favor him. Fans aren't debating whether Gabriel is ready to step up. They're debating how soon Sanders will leapfrog him. That kind of chatter can create unnecessary pressure, especially for a young quarterback still trying to establish his place in the league. To make matters tougher, Gabriel is judged through a completely different lens. If he plays well, the reaction is muted. If he struggles even slightly, it fuels the Sanders conversation instantly. It's the classic no-win situation. Meanwhile, Shedeur gets the benefit of excitement and potential, a blank slate that fans can project their hopes onto. Gabriel, by contrast, carries the weight of proving himself in every single snap. This dynamic doesn't just affect Gabriel, it affects the entire quarterback room. Coaches have to manage reps, media questions, and locker room morale while making sure the competition doesn't turn into a distraction. And with the spotlight glued to Sanders, Gabriel has to work even harder to make sure people don't forget his name. In short, the rise of Shedeur Sanders doesn't just put pressure on himself, it puts Dillon Gabriel in the uncomfortable position of fighting not only for his job, but also for relevance. And in the NFL, that kind of pressure can change everything. Confidence is a tricky thing in the NFL. For some players, it's celebrated as leadership. For others, it's twisted into arrogance. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is walking that fine line. Under the brightest spotlight, when Sanders told reporters he felt ready, it wasn't some groundbreaking statement. It's the exact answer you'd expect from any professional athlete. No quarterback worth his playbook is going to say, "Nah, I'm not ready, keep me on the bench." Confidence is survival. Without it, you don't even belong in the locker room. But the moment those words came out of Shedeur's mouth, critics pounced. Suddenly, a standard rookie response became cocky. Entitled or disrespectful, that's where the media narrative starts to twist. Instead of treating his confidence as normal, they magnify it, spin it, and use it to spark debates. And to be fair, part of the reason is that Sanders makes for great headlines. His family name, his charisma, and his growing fan base all guarantee clicks. But with that attention comes extra scrutiny. Every confident word becomes a target. Every interview a chance for critics to paint him as a spotlight chaser. Yet here's the reality. Confidence is exactly what the Browns should want from him. A quarterback without swagger isn't going to win over teammates, command a huddle, or thrive under pressure. The best to ever play the game, from Tom Brady to Aaron Rodgers, all had moments where their belief in themselves sounded arrogant. The difference? They had the chance to prove it on the field. Sanders hasn't yet, and that's why critics are so quick to question him. But here's where Shedeur stands out. He doesn't let the criticism shake him. Instead of firing back with anger or retreating into silence, he doubles down on his belief while staying calm and respectful. That balance, confident but composed, is rare for a rookie. It shows maturity, and it's why his teammates and fans continue to back him, even when the media tries to stir controversy. At the end of the day, Shedeur's confidence isn't a weakness. It's his greatest strength. And the more critics try to twist it, the more he proves that he's already built for the storm. While most of the spotlight has been on Shedeur Sanders, the truth is, this media storm creates a bigger problem for the Cleveland Browns as a whole. Because the more attention Shedeur draws, the harder it becomes for the team to control the narrative. And in a league where every distraction matters, that can spiral quickly. Think about it. This is a team already juggling questions about quarterback depth, offensive struggles, and a season that hangs in the balance. Instead of headlines focusing on the starter's performance or adjustments for the next big matchup, the storylines keep circling back to the third-string quarterback. That's not just unusual, it's disruptive. For the Browns coaching staff, it puts them in a tough position. Do they keep Shedeur in the media spotlight and risk fueling controversy? Or do they limit his access and risk being accused of hiding him? Either way, it becomes a lose-lose situation. Kevin Stefanski, a coach known for his calm demeanor, now has to spend press conferences explaining quotes from a quarterback who isn't even playing. That's time and energy pulled away from actual game prep. Inside the locker room, the ripple effect can be even more complicated. Veteran players could start questioning why a rookie who hasn't played a real snap is getting more attention than proven starters. Teammates may begin to feel like the media circus around Sanders is overshadowing the grind everyone else is putting in. And for Dillon Gabriel, it only adds fuel to the pressure already on his shoulders. But here's the irony. As much as this situation creates problems for the Browns, it also highlights their biggest opportunity. Shedeur's name keeps them relevant in conversations they might otherwise be left out of. In a crowded sports market, having a third stringer who generates headlines isn't necessarily a bad thing. The challenge is making sure that buzz doesn't fracture the locker room or become a distraction that costs games. That's the bigger problem Cleveland has to solve. Balancing the hype around Shedeur Sanders with the reality of winning football games. Because at the end of the day, attention is valuable, but victories are priceless. If there's one clear takeaway from all of this, it's that Shedeur Sanders' future in the NFL is already being shaped in ways most rookies can't even imagine. Usually, third-string quarterbacks are anonymous, known only by die-hard fans and coaches. But Sanders is building a reputation before he's even had a real chance to prove himself on the field. And that's both a blessing and a challenge. On the positive side, his confidence, charisma, and ability to stay composed under pressure are rare traits for a rookie. These qualities aren't just media sound bites, they're signs of leadership. Teammates notice when a young quarterback carries himself with belief and composure. Coaches notice when a player prepares like he's the starter, even when he's buried on the depth chart. Those intangibles are exactly what franchises look for when grooming future starters. But the flip side is just as real. With so much attention on Sanders, expectations are sky high. Every quote, every practice rep, and eventually, every game snap will be magnified. If he succeeds, the spotlight will amplify his rise. But if he struggles, even in the normal ways rookies do, critics will be waiting to pounce. That's the double-edged sword of fame in today's NFL. The same spotlight that builds you up can also tear you down. Still, Shedeur seems uniquely built for this moment. Growing up as Deion Sanders' son, he's no stranger to pressure. He understands the media game, and instead of shying away, he uses it to his advantage. That ability to embrace the attention while keeping his focus on preparation is what could separate him from other young quarterbacks who've crumbled under the weight of hype. What this all means is simple. Shedeur Sanders is no ordinary rookie. Whether he's QB3, QB2, or eventually QB1, he's already positioned himself as a player the league can't ignore. And if he continues to combine confidence with steady growth on the field, his future won't just be about surviving in the NFL. It could be about shaping the next generation of what it means to be a franchise quarterback. When you strip away all the noise, the debates, and the endless hot takes, the Shedeur Sanders story really boils down to one undeniable truth. He's not your average rookie. Third-string quarterbacks don't usually command headlines. They don't usually have three-time Super Bowl coaches weighing in on their interviews. And they definitely don't have entire media cycles built around their confidence. Yet Sanders has all of that, before he's even taken the field as a starter. What makes this even more compelling is how he's handled it. He hasn't lashed out at critics. He hasn't let the hype inflate his ego out of control. Instead, he's shown calmness, self-belief, and an understanding that confidence is part of the job. For every Tony Grossi or Bruce Arians questioning why he's speaking at all, there's a growing crowd of fans and teammates seeing him as a leader in the making. But this is about more than one rookie or one interview. It's about the changing face of the NFL. The old-school rulebook says rookies stay quiet until they prove themselves. The new reality says that personality, presence, and confidence matter just as much as stats, and sometimes even more. Shedeur Sanders represents that shift perfectly. He's not waiting until year 3 to build a brand or win over the spotlight. He's doing it now. And whether you love it or hate it, you can't ignore it. For the Browns, that creates both opportunity and risk. They've got a rookie who keeps them in national conversations, even when he's not playing. But they've also got to manage expectations and make sure the hype doesn't overshadow the team's bigger goals. For Sanders himself, the path forward is clear. Keep preparing like the starter. Keep showing poise in the face of criticism, and eventually let his play silence the noise. At the end of the day, Shedeur's story is still being written. But one thing's already certain. He's not just another name on the depth chart. He's a symbol of where the NFL is headed. A league where confidence, charisma, and presence matter as much as performance. And if Sanders keeps backing up his words with work, the day will come when nobody questions why he's in front of the cameras. They'll just be glad they were watching from the start.